Today we are going to enter a new country. It's always a challenge to enter a new country. We know we're going to face this situation at least 14 times. On this first trip we heard a lot, maybe too much, about Colombia before entering. We reread and kept rereading chapters about this country in books by other travelers, in blogs or on social media pages. Everyone agreed that everything was fine and there was nothing to fear. We had dinner at this restaurant, and the next day we went to ask them for hot water for breakfast because we had run out of our gas bottle. And not only did they heat the water for us for free, but they also bought crafts from us for much more than the value of the previous night's dinners. On the road, we met Manuel, a truck driver who invited us some refreshing sodas for the intense Colombian heat. He invited us to his Popayán house and recommended an electrician named Pupilo. It turns out that a spring in the starter motor had broken, so the van hadn't started for 5 days. If we didn't push it, that's how we entered Colombia, and that's how we were getting by until we met Pupil. He fixed the starter, the interior lights, and the electric fan, and even gave us a watermelon. And how much do you think he charged us? Nothing. It's my way of contributing to the trip, he said. At Manuel's house, we met Nancy, Alfonso, and Sebastian, who made us feel part of the family from the first day. They prepared a room for us and even took us to the family gathering on Saturdays, where we met more cousins and uncles from the family. Living centrally, Jaime had us sample coffee, cakes, and arepas, a typical food from Popayán. And countless people who passed by left us a little note, greeted and left. They didn't want anything in return. It seemed to come naturally to them. The helping, the sharing, the giving. The day we were leaving, Alfonso showed up with a kilo of dulce de leche that he gave us because he had heard that we liked it. We couldn't leave. We ended up making pancakes with dulce de leche for everyone. This gentleman, Julio, and his son Diego filled our gas bottle by inventing an adapter because the Argentine charging nozzle is different from the one here. They gave us an adapter so we wouldn't have problems in the future. And how much do you think they charged us? Nothing. Another little push for the journey. In Silvia, the military offered us their personal cell phones in case we faced any trouble. Teo, who had learned from travelers Ika, Javier, and May of Sonia, who was traveling, that we were there. He came to look for us where we were on 3 occasions, until he found us and invited us to his house. We entered Cali in the middle of rush hour. The traffic was impossible. We had to move 1 block through fierce traffic to enter a shopping center and wait there until it calmed down. In those 100 meters, 5 cars pulled up alongside us and gave us money for the trip. Just like that, people were giving us money. Just like that, people were contributing to this dream. When we went to sell, the money received as a donation or contribution was always much more. Fernanda gave us the equivalent of 25 liters of fuel on the first day. And on the last day, before we left, she invited us to dinner at her restaurant for my birthday. When we entered Colombia, we took out insurance for a month, but now, as we want to renew it, we couldn't get it for less than 3 months. 3 months cost 110 Colombian pesos, a little more than $40 to be exact. 119,000 pesos was all the money we had. Pay the insurance. Would leave us with nothing more and nothing less than $3 to get to Alaska. Cindy said, let's pay it and then we'll see. We paid and walked back from downtown to save those 2 bus fares. We arrived and found that they had left us 4,000 pesos inside. We collected 41,000 pesos from 3 more people who left us money that afternoon. And several neighbors in the neighborhood lent us a shower, gave us cheese arepas, peanuts with raisins, peaches in syrup, a bottle full of very cold balada juice, and they even lent us Wi-Fi from one of the houses. But something incredible would happen the next day. Betty, our Colombian grandmother, brought us mangoes and figs in syrup for the road. If you keep bringing us things, we're going to stay here. What do we do? We were already leaving, but like estancia, you have to give it 5 minutes to heat up and get the route in condition. In those 5 minutes, a van appeared next to us. They lowered the tinted windows, and from inside a man, surprised by the car and the trip. He smiled broadly at us and gave us his support for the dream, he said. He left us some bills, gave us his information to stay at his house in Mexico, and left. Sin asked, interrupting my daydream about Mexican beaches, "Did that man give you all this?" I replied yes, unaware of the amount. A lot of people leave us money here. And out of habit, I thank them and keep it. This gentleman left us 350,000 pesos, more than $110. Without knowing us, without knowing much about us, without needing any of that. We've been in Colombia for a month. Not a few things have happened. Do we remember the fear of entering a country that is talked about so much? Traveling has allowed us to have our own experiences of different places, our own vision of life in Bolivia, Peru, Ecuador, and now Colombia. Traveling has forced us to leave preconceptions and prejudices aside, to immerse ourselves in cultures that we knew nothing about, having heard so much. Traveling is a way of seeing the world differently, through other eyes, beyond the lens of all external belief, living the personal experience and reaching our own conclusions. For all these reasons and much more, traveling is worth it.